You probably clicked on this video because you know you need to start making changes in the way you're spending your time. And maybe you're finding yourself aimlessly scrolling on your phone, down social media rabbit holes, go into bed with a feeling of just being annoyed at yourself, and that you'll do it tomorrow, you'll have more time tomorrow, you'll prioritize that task that's been on your list for days tomorrow, and that tomorrow turns into the next tomorrow, and it's just like this reoccurring pattern, and you don't really know how to get out. And I understand, because I've been there. We all have days like that, but the problem is when those days outweigh the good days and the productive days, that's when we need to make some serious changes. My name is Sarah, and I post videos all about creating the life that you want, working online, being more productive, mindset tips, and how I've created the life that I live, and little bits of my life about living in Thailand. This is your biggest problem. The average person spends 3 hours and 15 minutes a day on their phone doing whatever it is. So that's 22 hours a week, 88 hours a month, and 1,149 hours a year. Think about, if you're spending 22 hours a week on social media or on your phone in general, what could you be doing with that time? So many people I speak to, friends, clients, whoever it is that I speak to, the most common excuse that people come up with when they want to make changes in their lives but they're not doing it is that they don't have time. We all live different lives, we all have different priorities and different circumstances, I get it. Instead of saying that, go and check your screen time and see what time you're spending on your phone, because I think you'd surprise yourself, and it will hit you like a ton of bricks, just like it hit me, on how much time I'm actually wasting looking at other people's lives, how they're doing things, rather than working on myself. Now let me just get this clear. It isn't you. It isn't just you alone who is spending time on social media on their phones, scrolling endlessly. It is unfortunately the majority of people, because the whole goal of the people who run these companies' apps is to keep you on there as long as possible. You have to outsmart them, and that's really challenging, and that's why the average person does spend over 3 hours a day on their phone. It's not all doom and gloom. I spend my time on my phone a lot because I run my social media from there, I run my business from my phone, so it's what you do with that time is what counts. Is that bringing you anything of value? Is that bringing you money? Is that changing your life and teaching you something new? And it's what we do with that time that's crucial. It's either we use that to help our lives, or we have that control our lives. So what can we do about it? I'm going to give you some actionable steps that do not include deleting social media for good and doing like a 30-day detox, which a lot of people tell you to do, because yes, that might work for a short time, but is that sustainable down the line? A lot of people use their phone for business, for social media, of making money, so it's not really sustainable, and for me it's not realistic. So I'm going to give you some realistic steps that you can implement, and this is how I changed my life. I quit my job. I was doing things that were making me miserable. I was looking at other people's lives almost in a way that was like an envious way of how can they live a life like that. And now I quit my job, I live in Thailand, I live the life that I've always wanted to live, and I help other people do the same, as well as running multiple businesses. So what's important is using social media, using your phone to your advantage, and letting it work for you. Create folders. So I've studied a little bit about how to break habits, how to create new habits. I've read about this. I've listened to multiple podcasts and YouTube videos about this. And the number one thing that people keep saying is we need to make it as difficult as possible for us to fall into that trap. So what I've done is removed the apps that I use the most to waste time on, like Instagram. I don't really use TikTok, but any apps that you just find yourself scrolling on, I've put them away from my home screen so they're not easy just to click on, and I've put them into folders. So then I have to seek a little bit further. Yes, it's just a couple of clicks, but you'd be surprised at how less of a time you spend making those clicks to get to the folder that you need for social media. Sleep with your phone outside your room. This is something that took me ages to actually implement, and I don't do it 100% of the time, but most of the time I put my phone outside of the bedroom when I sleep. The bedroom should be for sleeping, and this is why, again, this is a different topic, but most people who I speak to who can't sleep usually spend the majority of their evenings on their phone in bed. Any screen time before bed is kind of keeping your brain triggered and moving, and it's not putting you in a restful state to enjoy a great sleep. By leaving the phone outside of the bedroom in the night means that when you wake up in the morning, you're not go in for it straight away. You're less likely to grab it. And I challenge you to spend the first 45 minutes of your morning not touching your phone. Prioritize yourself, prioritize your mindset, prioritize your well-being in general, and you'd be absolutely surprised how much you can get done in that time and how different you feel. Business emails can wait. I run my business completely remotely, and I know how important it is for me to be on top of things, but myself comes first, because if I don't take care of myself, my brain, my energy, my body, everything, then I cannot take care of my business. Somewhere down the line, I'm gonna burn out, and I've experienced it. So I know that by prioritizing myself in the morning makes me far more productive and more on the ball and sharp later down the line. Clear out your notifications and set them up to work for you. So for example, I used to have those notifications coming up from Instagram. So-and-so has started a live video. Someone's liked your picture. Do I care if, I always say Susan down the road and people laugh at that, but like, do I care if Susan down the road has started a live video? No. Not really, but I get that notification, and then when that notification comes off, those notifications sound the way they sound for a reason. They have, I don't know what kind of money they pay people to create these noises to get us to look at the phone, but it works, because the second we hear a notification in the house, on our phones, wherever we are, we probably know it's nothing, right? But it's just that human instinct. When we hear that noise, we want to go to it, we want to check it, and then we check it and we're like, oh, that could have waited. So go through each app on your phone one by one, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Gmail, whatever you use, Shopify, and just go through and check, is that a priority? Do I really need to know about this notification? If not, turn them off. Have a social media clean out. I have told people time and time again how important this is, and I realize now how important that is. I hope the noise in the background is not too distracting. I noticed that when I was feeling like my lowest self, and when I fall into those little, you know the feeling of when you're just not feeling yourself, what am I doing with that time? I'm looking on social media and I'm looking at people that don't inspire me, don't give me anything. I'm just looking at their life and I don't know, I'm just not getting anything from it. So one of the best things I did was have a big social media cleanup, and I do this from time to time because I find myself falling into rabbit holes and following things that don't really align with me. So go through social media and unfollow the people that don't give you any sort of like happy feelings, value, make you laugh. Like, unfollow them and mute stories. If you're sick of seeing people's stories but you don't want to unfollow for whatever reason, mute their stories, mute their posts. You don't need to see them. And prioritize yourself. Follow people who inspire you. Find mentors that really inspire you and make you excited to, I sometimes watch videos online and I'm like, oh, now I feel inspired. Why do people watch videos like this? Is because they want to feel inspired. They want to feel motivated. They want to change their state. And sometimes watching videos like this help. So find people who light you up and unfollow and remove yourself from accounts that just don't give you anything. Combine want with need. And what I mean by that is, if you allow yourself, I don't know, let's say half an hour throughout the day, right, I'm gonna go on social media, I'm gonna watch this particular video that I wanted to watch, or I wanna listen to a podcast, combine that with something you need to do, like move your body. So when I go for walks, I will find like a podcast that I like or an interview that I wanna listen to, and I will combine that with walking, because I need to walk, I need to move my body, but then I also am rewarding myself with that time to watch that video that I wanted to watch or listen to a podcast that I wanted to listen to. So in a way, you're getting two birds, one stone. You're satisfying your need for social media, your desire to listen to whatever it is, with something that you need to do for yourself. So that's something that really, really works for me. The reason why we spend so much time on social media is because we're bored. Many of us are bored. We have too much time on our hands. And we say we don't have time, but because we fill the time with going on social media. So swap spending time on social media by doing something productive. Whether that's picking up a book, going out in nature, meeting up with a friend and talking about something that inspires you, swap it. Because if you swap that 3 hours, 15 minutes average a day that we apparently spend on social media and our phones with something else, you would be so surprised how much your life will completely upgrade and change. Again, going along with what I said earlier about making it more difficult for you to pick up your phone. Our phones are honestly the worst distraction. And how I've helped myself stay on top of myself is by putting my phone in a different room. So it makes it more challenging for me to, if it's just on the desk while I'm working, I just pick it up. You find yourself just, it's like an automatic behavior that we just pick it up. It's just become such a habit that is deep inside of us that we just pick it up. We open the phone, and the first thing we do is like go to Instagram. We just find, I sometimes open it and I'm like, what am I doing? I didn't even come on here to do this. So make it more challenging for you. Put it in another room and prioritize notifications. So if you do need to hear something, you can hear someone calling you, but put it in another room, so that makes it difficult for you to get up, go to the other room and check your Instagram. It's less desirable to do that. Another thing you could do, which helped me, is, again, you need to stay on top of this, and it's up to you how you control it. But for me, WhatsApp, I spend a lot of communications with clients and people of importance to communicate with them on there. So I don't want to leave my phone for hours and hours on end, because I know I could miss an important message. So when I'm on my laptop or on my computer, I open up the WhatsApp web, so I can just type replies on there. I can see urgent things, and sometimes I even mute chats that I don't need to see throughout the day, and I'll unmute them later. So just use that in case you're worried about losing important messages. Just leave your phone in another room and use the WhatsApp web as an alternative. This may sound silly, but create a sleep time, bedtime for your devices. So 1 hour or 2 hours before going to sleep yourself, make that time. So let's say, like, okay, 8:30 or 9 p.m. I'm gonna switch off my stuff, like my laptop, any screen time, and put it in another room and let that be their bedtime. Because, like, again, you don't want to go to bed just after being on screens. It's really bad for you. It's very distracting, and you're not gonna get the best night's sleep that you deserve to have. Another tip, if you do end up checking your phone, if you wanna pick up your phone throughout the day, don't sit down with it. I know that sounds simple, and I realized through my own mistakes and the way I have done things is, when I say I'm cleaning and I want to pick up my phone, the second I sit down, you can probably say goodbye to at least 40 minutes. And that's terrible, but it's really easily done. So if you do check your phone, stand up with it. Make it more unattractive. It's easier to sit down and relax and watch videos and get distracted, find yourself down a rabbit hole. But if you're standing up, you're slightly more uncomfortable and you're less likely to spend as much time. So don't sit down. Another thing that I've really found helpful is setting timers to do things. So instead of setting it on your phone, you can set it on the oven if you don't trust yourself to put it on your phone, and just stop the alarm once you finish the timer, because setting timers for things adds that additional pressure. It's like when they say we don't clean up, well, we do the best clean of our homes in the fastest time when we have guests coming around, because we have that pressure to do it in that time or nothing, right? So I think for me, putting timers, like, okay, I literally say, like, I don't even touch my phone. I just say, hey Siri, can you set an alarm for 20 minutes? And in that 20 minutes, I'll go clean up the kitchen, for example. Or, hey Siri, can you set an alarm for half an hour? And in that half an hour, I'll go through emails, prioritize things, and get things done. And don't touch my phone. Adding that extra pressure really helps me. Of course, it depends on your character and how you do things. But for me, that really has changed the game 100%. When we hold ourselves accountable, we are far more likely to follow through with our intentions. So I've included a checklist that you can fill out to promise yourself a different way of living. I know it sounds simple to think how changing the way you spend time on social media on your phone can change your life, but it truly can change your life. The moment I started to prioritize myself over social media, spending time on my phone, is the moment my life started to change. The moment I started to have synchronicities happening, the success in my business ideas, content creation ideas, just opportunities entering my life, where I'd left my old life in Melbourne and working jobs that didn't fulfill me, where I've got to now of creating a successful life for myself, a life that makes me happy, is aligned to who I am, is aligned to my purpose. I feel my true self, my best self. If you're somebody who's lacking motivation to do things, then I have a video on that that you could find helpful that I've implemented into my own life. Often we procrastinate and put things off because we don't have the confidence to actually do the things that we want to do. So I also have another video on confidence that, again, I've changed the way I do things, and I've become more confident in myself in order to do the things that I want to do and create the life that I want to live. So if you're interested in those, I will put the links all down below for you as well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below if you've got any tips that you would like to share that we can implement into our lives as well, and I'll see you in the next video.